It had taken a while, but I now had people in the BDA itself who were effectively working for me. Not the agents, not yet, but a small number of people on the administration side of things. "Excuse me," someone said from behind me. "You're blocking the way." I turned and found myself looking at a nondescript man not much older than me. For just a moment, I let him see the rage burning within me, and he stepped back with a yelp and a look of shock on his face. Laughing a little, I turned back to the revolving door, did my best to throttle my rage to a low simmer, and pushed my way in. Chapter 2. "Shoes, wallet, keys, and belt in the container," the bored-looking security guard said to me, just as he'd said to the person before me, and as he would say to whoever was next. "If you have any electronic devices, bags, etc., place them in a separate container." It was like going to an airport, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of cruel amusement to go along with my simmering anger. The X-ray machines and metal detectors were there to catch possible threats, and the numerous guards on display were no doubt meant to be intimidating. But even in my human form, I could have made my way through to the reception counter behind them, or even into the offices beyond, and nobody would have been able to stop me. Sure, the guards were heavily armed with tasers and guns, but I could rip them apart with my bare hands without breaking a sweat. It would be easy. Every time I seduced someone new, Azrael grew in power. In gamer terms, it was like gaining points which I could then dump into any of my own character attributes I chose. I was no longer the puny, overweight weakling I had been for most of my life. Now I was tall, as good-looking as any TV star, and stacked with layers of hard muscle. But that was just the beginning. Azrael had pumped up my reflexes, my speed, my durability, and a bunch of other important things. If I wanted to, I could have killed every last one of the guards before the first shot was fired, and they would be dead before they even knew what had hit them. Even though I wasn't going to do any of that, it felt nice to know that I could. Instead, I offered a ghost of a grin to the guard at the metal detector. "Sure," I said, and began taking off my shoes. I made it through without any problems, and collected my various items on the other side, with the guards never realizing that they had just admitted the most dangerous weapon they had ever seen. With the same sardonic grin playing on my lips, I made my way to the reception counter and waited my turn. "Next," said one of the reception staff, an older woman going to fat, and I stepped up to her. She gave me a slight double take, not in recognition so much as appreciation of my fine features. That was another attribute I'd dumped a load of points into. But she was professional, and had no doubt served handsome men in the past. She kept it together. "Name?" she said. "Simon Kingman." "You understand that within the walls of this building you are subject to BDA rules and regulations. You are required to provide any and all information requested, including access to any social media and email accounts you may have. This includes your logins to the Ascender communities. Providing this information does not indemnify you against any illegal activities uncovered. Do you so agree?" the woman asked. She spoke in a tone that suggested she had said the same thing thousands of times in the past. I could tell that my grin had grown brittle. This was the very reason I had never expected to visit this place. Everything about me was, in their eyes, highly illegal. "Sure," I said blithely, hoping she would not ask for access to any such accounts on the spot. "Excellent. Now, Mr. Kingman, what can I do to help you?" she asked. For much of my life, I had dreamed of the day when people would start calling me Mr. In a world where status was critical, I'd spent many years at the very bottom of the list, and it had been obvious. The only times I had been called Mr. Kingman were when Chad, my roommate, had been pulling my chain. But now it felt natural, as if it was nothing more than my due, which it was. The reception woman hadn't tried to access